to dive into unlocking the full potential of LLMs, advanced prompt engineering techniques for real-world applications. My name is Lakshmi Tejaswi. I have been a machine learning engineer and software engineer for the last 14 plus years. And LLMs are incredibly powerful. To get the best out of them often requires more than just a simple question. So the key for it is effective prompt engineering, where you can harness the full power of LLMs to get the best result for practical real-world applications. In this session, we are going to dive into the foundations of prompt engineering and also some advanced techniques. Okay, I know I talked about what is LLM performance and how do organizations do it, right? We always recommend to start with prompt engineering in the beginning. And when we do prompt engineering, we then evaluate the results and identify the gaps. When we are evaluating and identifying the gaps, we probably look at is the output of the prompt is right or not? Is it in the correct format? Is it having the right context? Is it giving me the right result? And once we identify these gaps, we either go with two things, whether choosing context optimization or LLM optimization. When I say context optimization, it's more about providing more context from external source, through documents, mainly domain-specific use cases, right? More of question and answer formatting. That's where the RAG come into picture. And when you think about LLM optimization, it's more about you're asking the LLM to have more defined roles, having set defined style and tone and for a long-term period. So it's actually, if you think in a short, RAG is more about having short-term memory, and fine-tuning is more about having the long-term memory. And often there are situations where organizations go either way or choose both the use cases together to get the best optimal results. But today we are going to touch on the foundation that is prompt engineering in this session. So to understand, to do different prompt engineering techniques, I think it's really important to understand the essence of the anatomy of it. The first is the instructions. This is where you tell the LLM very specified instructions, right? This is the core of the prompt. And here, I think it's really very important to be very very specified as possible. Summarize this question in three different bullet points, but give me the output and analyze it later. So you're giving very defined set of instructions at this stage, and examples give the core. Defines the prompt style or tone of the LLM. It's kind of you ask the LLM to think in a certain way. And context is more about you're providing more external data apart from the training data that LLM has been trained on. And output is more about you're telling the LLM to think about give me some output in JSON formatting style or in a bullet point style. So more define the structure. So you don't have to do all the four, but essentially combining all these four into your prompting techniques yields better results. So I think the main important of LLM prompt engineering is understanding how to bring the context to the LLMs, right, into your prompt engineering. I know many of you already know these techniques, but it's better to set the foundation before we dive into the major famous prompt engineering techniques are these three, the first three that I'm showing here. First is zero shot, where you don't give any examples. You just very, it's better for very generic examples, just ask a question and it's just gives you the answer based on the training information that it already has, right? Few shot is where you give certain examples, asking LLM to think in a certain way, give me the output in a certain format. So you define much more examples and you ask the LLM to give the answer after you look at these examples first. It's always better to ask the LLM to provide the answer after you give the examples first, and then prompt the LLM to print the input at the end, because Once the LLM processes the information, it doesn't have a way to, once the LLM prints the information, and if it reads the examples later, it doesn't have a way to go back and change its analysis, right? So always first examples and then you ask it to print. And the next is the role based, where you define the role to hey, you are a marketing specialist or you're a financial analyst, so you're defining the role, a persona to the LLM to think in a certain way. So it gathers all the domain-specific information as much as possible based on the information that it has been trained on. And relevant information is something you provide extra content for it to process information through docs or through examples or through external data or tools, right? But in most of the cases, keep it simple, the prompt, give the LLM time to think, and we will explore how you give it time to think and encourage positive tone throughout your prompts. And most of the cases, these three work, but still there are some complex cases where you need to dive into, but we will explore in the next slides. Let's see some examples of these techniques in the next slide. Zero shot prompt. If you see the prompt here, very simple, very opaque. I'm just asking it to generate a short, enthusiastic, and by the way, all my prompts are based on the marketing analyst, because that's where I've worked in the last 4-5 years. So here the prompt just says, generate a short, enthusiastic social media post for a picture of our team enjoying a picnic on a sunny day. Nothing special about it, but just it gives the output based on the information, social media information that it could gather, and gives me tags like team building, work-life balance, and sunny days. The next is the few shot prompt. If you see here in the prompt, I have defined a clear specific goal, and I have given a call to action in a key and a pair formatted way. So the first two examples actually sets the essence here, and at the end I am asking the LLM, give me the call to action, drive signups for a webinar. So if you see the response, it clearly says register for the webinar or save your spot, right? So very specific information. If I wouldn't have given the first two examples, the answer would have been entirely different. And role-based prompt is something where you define the persona, like I said before, and you define the expertise. In the role, you say here in the example, you're a content strategist pro, a helpful and knowledgeable assistant. And you're defining, and you're giving more information, like your tone is professional, encouraging, and insightful, right? So this is the tone that LLM carries. And then in your prompt, you combine this role information that you have given and with the prompt, that the question that you wanted to answer, like, my company sells productivity software, give me blog post ideas, and generate the content, right? So here, if you see in the output on the right side, okay, it generated exactly two outputs for me, and they are very specific to the question that I have asked, the blog post ideas for the remote working software. And it kept it very professional and very insightful, combating remote work burnout with smart scheduling. So it had little tweak in the output. So, okay, we learned the basic simple prompting, but sometimes in the real work projects, you often deal with situations where you have to balance the speed and cost and the performance, right? How do you do that? Especially large language models consumes a lot of tokens when you're interacting with the OpenAIs or endpoints, right? So this is the technique that worked for me, so I'm sharing it with you. I'm showing you 3 different system prompts and incorporating chain of thought and chain of draft techniques. So if you see the standard prompt here, it's very, it doesn't have any examples or it doesn't say anything, right? It's just answer the question directly, do not preamble, explanation, or reasoning. There's nothing. And in the chain of thought system prompt, I'm asking it to think step by step and give me the following answer. But in the, you all know, chain of thought, where it thinks very step by step and there's a lot of reasoning often involved, and it prints all the information for you to debug, the output, right? And chain of draft is another technique where you're telling the LLM to think step by step, but still only keep a minimum of draft. Let's say it goes through 100 steps. Within chain of draft, it still goes to 100 steps, but it doesn't store all the 100 steps. It compresses all that information and summarizes that information. Specifically in my prompt here, I asked it to summarize it only like, keep it to 6 words at most. But still, at the end, I do have the summarization and I can still go back and debug it later. And if you see the output at the bottom, it has that, like, less than 6 words at most. For the prompt at the bow, I asked it to, like, 3 catchy subject lines for a new product launch email. And that's exactly what it has given. So just to compare all the different type of prompts, standard prompt, it's fastest, cheapest, fewest tokens, but opaque reasoning. Not very, resonated with your ask. Chain of thought, it's slowest because it's a lot of reasoning, thinking going on in the behind the scenes, and it consumes a lot of expensive tokens, but fully transparent for you to, go through debugging and complex tasks. And the chain of thought is something like, it concises, all the output, all the thinking steps, summarizes the reasoning, and which is very less verbose than chain of thought. So it totally depends on the use case to use case, right? Some use cases, you don't really have to go through all the chain of thought thinking steps. So I think where you don't have to do a lot of debugging, you're very sure about the LLM workflow, I think it's a good way to combine chain of thought and chain of draft together. And the next technique that I'm going to jump here is tree of thoughts. This comes in handy when chain of thought is mostly like, the linear form of a way. You have an input, it goes through certain steps linearly and it gives the output. But in tree of thoughts, you mainly used for complex tasks where you want the LLM to explore and give you information. So basically, it kind of branches the prompt that you have given into certain different layers. And the green, dark green shades that you're seeing are the most promising ones. And the light and the pink ones are you seeing here are not promising ones. So basically, LLM will find a way to explore the most promising ones and give you the final output. That's the tree of thoughts, and it's mainly used for complex reasoning and complex tasks. The next is the React. I know many of you know, but I'll just touch base on it. In the React, is more about combining your chain of thought in many cases, plus the external tools. And this is where you want the LLM to perform beyond its trained data, and you want it to perform beyond the, by taking in external tools, it could be your memory tools, it could be your database tools, it could be a lot more, right? In the example simple prompt that I'm showing here, if you see in the on the right side, it is mainly goes through certain layers like action, observation, and thought process, right? For the question, it did not directly jump into the answer. So it has decided to search what are the different members in this Metallica, right? And then in the Metallica, then it identified the number of members, and it had observation that has made. And it's again going back and creating an action item, searching through all different members and finding out the number of children that a person has. This Metallica band has, right? At the end, it arrives at the final answer as 10. But if you see the number of steps that it has taken, action, thought, observation, action, thought, observation. I think it's really important for cases where you want to search beyond the LLM that has been trained on, but you still want to have a updated relevant information by searching the Google or many other external tools that you could plug in either from social media. What are the trending summer sales going on? So there's a lot of mix and match that you could do with React, so which is very effective. And the next prompting technique is self-consistency. This is more about running the same prompt multiple times. When I say multiple times, why do you want to know, right? Imagine this way. You ask the same question to a 3 different experts, you get 3 different answers. But do you notice any commonality in 3 different experts? Definitely. Whatever the commonality that you see, that's most promising, right? So for example, in many of the cases, self-consistency is used in creative applications where you want a lot of, like, the temperature is often very, like, greater than 0. You need a lot of variety, right? And you cannot rely on single LLM prompt. It's often flawed. So you want a lot of content creation. So for the example here, generate 3 slogans for Echo lunch bags. And if you see in the run 1, run 2, run 3, pack happy has been came up a lot of times in the prompt solution. So it could be the major strong direction for the LLM to pursue. So that's self-consistency. The next is the meta prompting. This has been very famous in the last few months, I would say, but it's mainly about automating your prompt techniques to generate the prompts for yourself. So it has like a very complex structure, but you have to have task, steps, and format in a very definitive structure. Like, task would have this one sentence, very clear, very precise information. And in the steps, you mention very clear steps, like, go through step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 5, and then format the output requirements in a very defined format. In the example that you see, that it has created the prompt for me, output as a JSON. These are the sentiments. So it's the often meta prompting is more about, at the end, you also do self-reflection. You ask the LLM to, once you arrive and print the output, go back and make sure whether it is correct or not. If it is not correct, make changes. So you often ask it to do at the end. But if anybody is interested in digging through all these techniques, there is a recent Google white paper which talks about all the different prompt engineering techniques. You can scan it and get the PDF. So it talks about advanced strategies like that we just discussed, TOT, self-consistency, contextual prompting, and also it gives a lot more strategies on how you can use the temperature, top E, top K, and different things. I know many of you may think prompt engineering is going away, but I do not think so. It's still going to be there. We have to deal with it. So I think using these prompt engineering techniques will help you balance the performance and cost. Thank you. And this is my LinkedIn. I would be happy to talk about any of these techniques after this session. Thank you.